Hey everybody, what's going on? Welcome back to the channel. Alfonso speaks. And welcome back to more Darrell Brooks content. Before we get started today, you guys know what to do. Like, share, subscribe, turn that bell on for notifications, and follow me on both my Instagram and my TikTok for more great content. Today, we're getting into this COVID protocol mess from Darrell Brooks. It's one of everybody's favorite moments from the trial because it was such a reach. It was such a reach very early in the trial. I believe this was day one. I believe this was day one of the actual trial. Darrell tried to get it postponed, delayed, because he was claiming to have COVID 19. Now, this is just the latest and disgusting displays by Darrell Brooks. As you all know, we lost a lot of people to the COVID 19 pandemic for different reasons. If it wasn't the sickness of COVID that got them, it was a sickness of the mind and the isolation that got them. So it was a very, very bad time in our society. And this was stemming off of that. Obviously, COVID went rampant in 2020. It was still around in 2021, though. And that's when this trial happened. Actually, this trial happened in 2022. Sorry. But but even still, it was still running rampant around that time as well. So I mean, this is just it's one of those things. Another one of those things that he did. It's another one of those things that he did. It was disgusting. But let's get into it. Um, Judge Darrell and Darrell Brooks getting heated over COVID protocol.
So I'm not
But I,
arguing it with you,
I
sir,
know I
one
just
bit.
want you to know that I'm not arguing with you either, but I was right in the middle of finishing what I was saying.
So I need to stop you for a minute, Mr. Brooks,
I don't
because
consent to that, Your Honor, because
you don't have to consent.
I
But here we
don't
go.
consent or
Let
agree to
me.
being cut off right when I'm
All
trying to
right, I'm just
provide
going
the
to talk
court with
over him for a
information.
minute. I do not have any other information regarding uh, the COVID 19 protocol, meaning anything specific about you, Mr. Brooks, other than what was put in the inmate communication, which reads, due to just learning I'm on COVID 19 protocol, I respectfully ask for all proceedings to be adjourned at this time, which is why I asked you if there was any other information you wanted to provide me as I consider your request, because the jail has not provided me with any specific information regarding the reason you were placed on protocol, whether you were exposed, whether you are showing symptoms. They cannot provide me with that information absent you giving them permission by signing an applicable authorization to do that. Without that, I have to rely upon you to provide that information to me if you so choose.
That is incorrect because just yesterday you were trying to obtain the witness list that was in my cell. You had no problem whatsoever having the JA come down here to have me verify that they can go in my cell and search for that.
So these are two completely different situations, as we all know. HIPAA is a very, very sensitive thing. You cannot just go digging through trying to find people's medical information. You can't do it. It's against the law. Darrell has to sign off on that. And if Darrell wants to be able to get this thing delayed because of COVID, he's going to have to give Judge Darrell access to those medical records so that she can make a finding. But he's not going to do that because he knows he didn't have COVID. He knew he didn't have COVID. It was a delay tactic. He came in there talking, leaning against the desk like this, talking about, Your Honor, my name is Darrell Brooks. I am here as a third party intervener on this matter, a representative for my client. I accept for value and return for value all these documents. And you know what he's acting like? He's leaning on the table like one of those school teachers. I'm sure we've all been through that, right? We're trying to work on a test or work on some type of classwork. There's a classmate right here who needs some help. And all of a sudden, the teacher comes over there and she just has to lean just like this, butt all up in your face. Just rude. just rude. Just everything he does is just rude. He's implementing this behavior in the most ridiculous situations.
So I find it very hard to believe that you can't consult with jail staff for them to tell you what is going on in my situation, where they know that I've just been seen by a nurse that placed me on this protocol for having a loss of taste, fatigue, and I have to wait for the results of my test. And until then, I am on a protocol which restricts me to my cell. That is very easy information to obtain. And I find it very hard that Your Honor cannot obtain that information, but can obtain a way to communicate with jail staff when there's a witness list involved. We're talking about someone's health that can affect not just you, but anybody else, not just officers, but also inmates. We're talking about health and we're talking about safety. That has a lot of merit. And
Says the guy that ran over 60 people with his car. We're talking about health and we're talking about safety. It's not a joke, Judge Darrell. It's very important stuff.
frankly, Your Honor, I'm afraid. I'm fully vaccinated and I've never had COVID. I don't know what I'm looking at here. I'm that was the last thing I was hoping I would be told today, Your Honor. So I'm afraid right now. I'm not feeling well. I don't know what's going on with myself. That's the reason why I put in the sick call slip initially. I had been telling officers for days that I hadn't been feeling well, but I didn't know what it was. But I felt that I had to put in the sick call slip because I was not able to taste anything. That is the reason why I was seen by nurses. That is the reason why the COVID test was administered, and that's why I'm on the protocol as we speak.
Are you willing to discuss with me what tests were done? Again, I cannot obtain that information on my own.
I'm not a nurse, Your Honor. I don't know the name of the test. I don't, like I said, I've never had this happen.
Let me clarify that. That was a pretty ambiguous question. So, you reported symptoms as that's what you're telling me, right?
Correct.
And you're saying some tests were done?
I mean, that it's obvious. I mean, why can't it be verified with the nurse?
I have to verify it with you. The nurse will not provide me with this information.
But the jail can, because they control the movement. They control all inmate movement. I can't just go from my cell to a HSU.
Inmate movement is not the issue at the moment.
It's not, but I'm saying, how can I tell you, how can I answer what you're asking me? It doesn't make sense. We all understand that the jail itself controls the movement of the inmates. That's common sense, Your Honor.
I'm not here to talk about inmate movement at the moment. What I'm asking you is, do you believe you were tested for COVID?
I obviously was tested for COVID. I would not be on the protocol if I was not.
He can't answer a yes or no question. That's how you know that people are lying. You guys ever watch those Senate hearings? And they're, somebody getting grilled by Congress or the senators, and ask them a very simple yes or no question, and they jump around it or they act like they're offended by the question or something. Like, that's how you know somebody's lying or hiding truths.
Do you know what type of test? Was it an oral swab, a nasal swab?
It was a nasal swab.
All right. Do you know when the results of that test will be back?
From my understanding, Friday. That's what I was told by the doctors. I would have to be at least on this protocol until the results come back, which he said the earliest would be Friday.
Were you offered a rapid test?
They said they do not do the rapid test.
So you weren't offered a rapid test?
They said they don't do them.
If one can be obtained, are you willing to submit to a rapid test?
I'm not willing to submit to anything right now until we take care of the issues that's at hand. I mean, I've already been placed on the protocol. I'm very afraid right now because I don't know what's going on. This is new to me. Like I said, I'm fully vaccinated, Your Honor. I've been fully vaccinated since 2021. And so for this to just be sprung on me now to say this could possibly be a COVID thing, I've had people close to me that have passed away from COVID. I'm afraid as hell, Your Honor. That's the reason why I submitted the ICF for the adjournment. I was thinking at least until I can get the results, at bare minimum. I don't think I'm asking something that's
Sir,
impossible for
if
Your
I
Honor
can
to
make
grant.
arrangements to have a rapid test brought to you and administered, are you willing to submit to that test?
Not at this time.
Why not?
Not at this time.
Why not?
Why can't I get the results for the test I already took?
But you're telling me you're scared, you're
Yes,
fearful.
I am.
But you don't
very.
want to take a test that might
I
tell
took
you today.
I took the test that he gave me.
And
if
you're
he
telling
felt-
me that test result won't.
Look at her face. Look at her face. Look at Leslie Bassey's face, man. She's so amused by this because she knows what's going on. And they're going to call him out on it, I think, later in this video. But, like, she's so amused. She's so amused. She can't believe that this is his strategy.
Be available to you until
Keep in mind, at this point, they've already heard jail phone calls between him and his family, saying that he was going to try to get the trial delayed. So they already know what he's going to do, but he's not smart enough to know that every time he makes a phone call, they're listening to a recording of it.
at least Friday.
At least Friday, that's what I was
So
told.
tomorrow.
I was told that I would be placed
day
on this
after.
protocol until the results came back. The earliest that the results would be back would be Friday.
So that sounds like, to me, I think that's what they call a PCR test.
I have no idea, Your Honor. I
Okay.
have no idea what it's called. Like
Let
I
me
said,
ask
I've
you-
never had COVID. I don't know the test names. I don't know what they call them.
I'm generally familiar with some of the testing for COVID. There are tests that can be what we call rapid tests, or what are called rapid tests, that are available. And then there's these other tests which take a few days. It's, again, I'm not a scientist, but I think the general belief would be sometimes the rapid tests are accurate, sometimes they're not. Sometimes people test negative when they're really positive. It just kind of depends on the circumstances. But it's my understanding a positive test would be pretty accurate. And then there's other tests that take a few days for the results to come back. It really depends on the lab that's being utilized, etc. I'm asking you once again, if a rapid test can be obtained, are you willing to take a rapid test?
How would that be obtained? How would it be obtained?
I would
was
work
told,
with-
I can only go by what was told to me, because when I was brought in there and they told me that they had to test me for COVID. I was
Story time with Darrell.
Like, what do you mean you have to even test me for this? What is this about?
Story time.
Well,
I had
didn't
a
you report
lieutenant.
symptoms to them?
Excuse me, Your Honor. I had a lieutenant and 2 officers present when I was asking all these questions. Why do I need? What's going on with this? Why is this? Why is this? Why is that? Because I didn't understand. Immediately in my head, I started to get afraid when they said they had to even test for COVID.
Well, were you reporting being sick and symptoms prior to them asking you to test?
Yes, I've told multiple officers. I didn't know what it was at first because it started with fatigue, with me feeling very fatigued. And I said, man, I don't know if it's just me being tired, or that's what I initially thought it was. Maybe I'm just a little exhausted. But I said, no, anybody knows their body. I said, this got to be something more, because I'm really, I don't even have an appetite. Then when I'm trying to eat, I can't taste anything. That's what said, okay, now I need to put the medical sick
When did
call
you
slip in.
report these symptoms to the medical people, or to even just a correctional officer?
A few days ago. Over the weekend is when I started to notice the fatigue. So I was telling officers, man, I don't feel good. I don't know if it's just I'm tired. Usually I don't just jump the gun and say something's wrong, because it could be anything. So
When did you report the loss of taste?
I reported the loss of taste last night.
And was it after that they told you they wanted to test you?
No, they didn't tell me till this morning that they wanted to test me.
What other symptoms are you reporting at this time?
That was it so far, just the fatigue and the loss of taste, which is the reason why I was told that I had to take the test. Which I was told at that time also that the earliest my results would be back would be Friday.
And you said at this point you're not willing to take a rapid test.
Well, they said this is the test that they do. The nurse was very clear in what he was telling me when he told me how the test, because like I said, there was a lieutenant and 2 officers right there while the whole thing was going on.
I understand all of that. I have a very specific question to you, sir.
I was asking them questions, and he specifically told me that this jail, this is the test that they do. They do not do rapid tests. I didn't even ask about the test because I know nothing about the test. This is what I was told. And after he told me that, I said, okay, fine, just do the test and I'll just sit on the protocol, because at first when he told me, you know, you're going to have to be on a protocol where you're isolated. I said, okay, fine, just do the test. I'd rather you do the test and make sure that I'm healthy than to just refuse the test and just say, I'll just wait to see if I get better or something like that.
Well, I know his eyes just lit up when that lieutenant probably said that he would have to sit in isolation. He's like, oh, I don't have to go to trial today. No, bro. You got to go to trial. You have to go to trial. And the solution that Judge Darrell comes up with is really funny, because she's like, well, you're 6 feet away from everybody in here, so we should be fine. That's pretty much that. We're going to go forward with the trial.
So I said, yeah, just go ahead. And that's what I was informed. Friday would be the earliest that I would get the results back. And I would be placed on a protocol which is called isolation, where I'm not allowed out of my cell.
Anything else, sir, you think I need to know about this issue as I consider your request?
No, at this time, I'm just telling you what I know. Multiple officers were there. They can tell you the same thing that I'm telling you now. Like I said, Lieutenant Chamberlain was there. 2 officers were there.
Any objection if I talk to any of them to confirm what you're saying?
Absolutely not.
Any objection if I need to ask the jail administrator about, or anyone else at the jail about, the protocols and what's available for testing?
Absolutely not.
Given any information about whether anyone else in the facility is experiencing COVID right now?
I wouldn't know that. I wouldn't know who. I'm in the mental health medical pod as it is.
So no information's been provided to you that there's like either a lockdown or some type of a restriction due to any like concern over COVID at this time?
I would never have that information, because like I said, I'm limited in the pod that I'm in. I have no interaction with any other inmates, and my interaction with staff is pretty limited.
All right, thank you. I appreciate that additional information. I know, sir, what I've provided to you is generally the for employees. I fully recognize that the jail may have different protocols just because of it being in a correctional facility, and inmates are, of course, or can be very close to one another. And so I don't want to presume that this is exactly what they follow. And so I'd like for them to tell me what their protocols are as I consider this request. At the moment, I told you this earlier, you're not within 6 feet of anyone else in this courtroom. And I believe that provides ample protection for the other people in this courtroom. As I consider this request, you've provided information to the court. You've been able to
He's not going to be happy about this because what he wants is he wants this to be instantly uh uh resolved. He wants this to result in immediate action from Judge Darrell, which she's basically saying is, hey, next time I get an opportunity, I'll talk to people about it. But we're still going to continue with the trial. And he's not going to be happy about that.
Tell me the symptoms that you are reporting, your understanding of the protocols, and despite you reporting fatigue, I know I don't know if you're standing or sitting on the chair. I can't quite tell. It appears like you're standing, but maybe leaning over the table.
I got a knee on the chair.
Oh, knee on the chair. Okay, but you've been able to very clearly, coherently make your position known to the court at this time, and I appreciate.
Yeah. So spoiler alert. Actually, you know what? Nah. I'm not going to do a spoiler alert. In fact, I'm going to give you guys a special little treat. Normally, I would go ahead and end the video here. But I don't want to leave you guys on any type of cliffhanger like this. Because you guys deserve to know exactly what happened here. And I believe I have the video right here. So the test results come back. And this is how it goes down.
Your Honor, I don't consent to being talked to in that fashion.
Your lack of consent is noted for the record. Please find the piece of paper, open it up, and please read it.
I will not consent to that, Your Honor. Or do I agree to that, Your Honor? I do not.
Mr. Brooks, then I'm going to advise the Sheriff's Department to find the piece of paper and hand it to me so that I can read it. So that those are your two options.
What would be the basis for that, Your Honor?
Mr. Brooks, this is an issue that you raised, and I need to bring it to finality and know what the test result is.
Okay, with all due respect, it was a motion that I raised.
All right, I'm going to clear the courtroom. We're going to go off the record, and we're going to find that piece of paper, and I'm going to address it when that's done. I needed to make a record of what was being done, including that I have obtained the test result. So there's an accurate record in this case related to the motion that was raised previously by Mr. Brooks. I want Mr. Brooks to know that I am not removing him from when the jurors are brought back in. It was just simply because he was upset.
He got removed. So during that little white flash, they went off the record. So of course, audio is cut and all you see is the American flag. What actually ended up happening during that time was Darrell was removed from the courtroom by the sheriffs, and he went kicking and screaming because he did not want his COVID test results to be read because they were negative. And as a result of them being negative, trial continues as normal. He did not want that. Judge Darrell is going to explain that here.
He was very loud when I walked into the courtroom before going on back on the record. He was yelling about his constitutional rights being violated. I advised him that if there was any type of use of force that he wanted to complain about, he could certainly do that through the proper channels with the Sheriff's Department, but just given his state of agitation and my need to make a record, I had him taken to the other courtroom. He is currently muted. I do not intend to go forward with additional testimony. Ultimately, I'm going to take an early lunch break because of this, but I will make a record of the following. I have the result. I am going to scan it, have my clerk scan it. It will be filed as confidential, though. It won't be available to the public, but it's there for appellate purposes. But I can confirm that the test result for COVID-19 was negative. And again, I required the Sheriff's Department to provide that result to me. and it was, and it will remain under seal. I realize I'm disclosing that result, but I feel obligated to do that given the motion that was raised 2 days ago by Mr. Brooks.
Yes, so that's what happens there. And on top of that, he also starts having an actual uh mental breakdown in the other courtroom. We're gonna check that out as well. Um this is when he realizes like, hey, my plan didn't work. Everything that I just tried to do to get myself out of this day of trial, it did not work. Let's pull that up here.
Articulate objections. He was able to elicit information from the
See him starting
witnesses
to break down.
regarding either their memory, their credibility, and other things. Generally speaking, he's been able to competently represent himself and provide, again, solid cross-examination this morning. So I'm going to give him an opportunity to hopefully settle back in and to come back here when we return from lunch.
Now, truthfully, what do I think is going on here? I think this is the moment where it finally hits him um, that he's in big trouble. Now he's been in the Waukesha County Jail for a year now, but you gotta think this is somebody who has been in jail. I don't know how many years he's served previously, but this isn't his first go around with the law. Um, but in every other case, obviously he had gotten out. You know, he served some time, he got out. This was the realization like, oh man, I've really screwed up here, and I don't think I'm going to be able to get myself out of this one. And he's sitting there in these orange clothes, surrounded by sheriffs in this courtroom, shackled up, handcuffed up, no freedom of movement, no freedom of thought, no freedom of anything. All his rights have been taken away from him, except for the ones that apply in the court of law. And it's just hitting him now. It's hitting him. He doesn't know what to do. There is nothing to do. There's nothing that he can do because he squandered his opportunity to live as a free man. He's realizing this is my reality for the rest of my life. Somebody controlling me, somebody roughing me up, which he got roughed up because he was doing the most. And that's another reason why he's breaking down here, because those sheriffs manhandled him. They made him feel like a little boy, which is the way that he acts. But everything is just hitting him at once here. Everything. And when you're sitting there and you're cuffed and you realize you have no more freedom left, you realize everything that you love is over. Your family, it's gone. Your friends, gone. You know, no more relationships with a woman. That's a big deal. That's a big deal. He ain't got none in over a year. Us men know, man. Look, I'm married to a very beautiful woman, man. Around the third day, I'm like, hey, babe, hey, hey, you know what time it is? You know what I'm saying? Imagine a year. And again, I don't feel bad for him. It's not about feeling bad for him. I'm just telling you the reality of the situation here. Because the reality is, he deserves to be where he's at for what he did. But the reality is that there's things that come with that we can still acknowledge as to why he's having this type of emotional breakdown. Like this is his life. This is what he chose for himself. The decisions that you make ultimately lead to something. So we have to make sure we're making the right decisions. I talk about that on the channel all the time. We all know a Darrell Brooks in our life. And whether you want to acknowledge it or not, we all have good and evil in us. But it's the choices that we make every day. Every day is a choice to do good. That is what makes us good. We are not inherently just angels. We're not. I mean, if you're religious, the Bible even talks about it. We're born sinners, right? So if that's the case, how do you become a good person? You make good decisions every single day. You try to make the best decisions possible every single day. You try your best not to hurt anybody else every single day. That's what you do. Darrell chose the opposite, and now he's in an orange jumpsuit for the rest of his life. Actually, I think his is probably like tan now up in South Dakota. Who knows? I don't know. But anyway, if you enjoyed this video and you want some more, there will be more coming, but you got to like, share, subscribe, and turn that bell on for notifications so that you know when I post. Also, follow me on Instagram and TikTok for reels and great posts. Honestly, I post selfies on there and I'm very handsome. I'm sure you guys would like more of that. All right, I'm done. That's going to be it for me. I've embarrassed myself enough. I will see you guys in the next video. Until then, stay safe, stay blessed. Peace.